This short poll everywhere video is going to show you how to create a very simple open text question poll, as well as how to create a multiple choice question poll for your users. So the first thing you have to do obviously is create an account. So you've created your account and now you have to create your first poll. So I'm going to go up to My Polls, and I have a lot of stuff here, but what you want to click on the upper left hand side is Create New Poll. And so to ask any question, whether it's multiple choice or open-ended, go ahead and type your question. So I'm going to do an open-ended question, which is, what kind of cheese do you like? Fairly simple. I hit return. And at this point, I could convert it to a multiple choice poll if I wanted to, but I'm going to have it be open text. And I hit create poll. And at this point, my poll is ready to go. If users texted 154052 and their message to the number 37607, I would get a response here. But here's something to make it a little easier for your users. What I like to do is change this text number to actually a word. So if I go up to edit, and I'll change my text number to cheese, and save the poll, what happens then is anytime that if I were to text cheese and my message to 37607, my result would appear here as well. You'll also see that users can submit responses to pollev.com/Hedberg. That is my personal URL that I set up, and you might want to set one up as well, because that allows users to use a laptop or a netbook, etc. And if I go up to settings and over to personal information, you'll see my pollev page is pollev.com/Hedberg, but I could change that to C. Grugel or Carthage or something like that, as long as that word is not taken. So let's go ahead and create a multiple choice poll real quick. So we'll go to create new poll, and I'll ask that same question: what kind of cheese do you like? And I'm going to convert that to a multiple choice question, and I'm going to put in a couple of options: cheddar, Swiss, and the last one I'll put in Havarti. And continue. So now my users have three choices here: cheddar, Swiss, and Havarti, and they still have these odd code words here. I'm going to go ahead and change those. And for my keywords, I like to set them up fairly easy for my audience, so I'll choose cheese 1, cheese 2, and cheese 3. The other thing that you can do, which is sometimes helpful, is you can change the look of what this poll looks like. So, maybe I don't like this layout, I want to do some different things. In visual settings, if I just kind of hover on the right hand side here and click on visual settings, I can change the theme of what it looks like, or I can change the chart type as well. For example, maybe I want not the number of votes, but I want the percentages of who's voting, and I'll change that to column as well. And I can change things like access label size or keyword size. Just a few other things that you can do in here. Fairly simple to figure out. The last thing that sometimes is helpful, if I go over to edit once again, do you want responses? Do you want people to only respond up to one time or as many times as they like? And I like to choose as many times as they like, especially if you have users who might be using a laptop or a tablet. That way it can be passed around and you can have multiple, people enter that same poll. So in this particular case, with this poll, if I go out to my Poll Everywhere page, what kind of cheese do you like? And I'll say Swiss, and now I'll say cheddar, and I'll choose Havarti 5, 6, 7 times just for fun. And if I go back to that poll, you see those instant responses. Every time on Poll Everywhere, if you have multiple polls in a session, every time you change the poll, if I were to go back to like all my polls over here and choose a different poll, it automatically updates your pollev.com, slash, personal page there. You can also download the slide for this poll and plug it right into a PowerPoint. So, if you're, giving a PowerPoint presentation, you just click to the next slide. As long as you have an internet connection, you will see the actual, poll right in there. And if you have any questions, please contact the Hedberg Information Desk at 262-551-5950, or feel free to contact me as well at cgrugel@carthage.edu.